And researchers and fishermen in Cambodia last week caught and recorded the world's biggest freshwater fish.
This was the biggest freshwater fish that's ever been recorded.
I don't know what this is. Holy look at this f***ing thing!
Below the blue surface, a world of mystery awaits.
It exploded!
Be it prehistoric legends and mythical creatures from stories, or giant monsters from the deep. Get ready to watch the strangest fishing anomalies no one would believe to have ever existed. Mermaid on beach.
Oh my god. What is that?
A lifeless mermaid washed ashore at Champagne Beach, catching the attention of a young boy. The creature had a fish-like body, with its face completely covered in dark, thick hair. The footage from 2011 only shows the creature lying motionless on the sand, preserved with no visible signs of injury or decomposition. It's possible that a sudden shift in ocean currents or a natural disaster caused the mermaid to be swept ashore. Some believe the mermaid could have been seeking food or following some instinctual behavior tied to its species. The lack of decomposition and the creature's strange preservation might indicate that it came from extreme ocean depths, where marine life often develops unusual features. Giant squid.
Coast of Ireland. For the second time in 2 months, fishermen have pulled in a giant squid.
Imagine fishing in the water off Ireland's coast, when suddenly you pull up a thing straight out of a sea monster's story. That's exactly what happened to a family of fishermen who caught a massive 20-foot-long squid. This wasn't just any big catch, it was only the 7th giant squid ever recorded in 350 years.
Ireland, since record-keeping started almost 350 years ago.
Talk about a family with a skill for finding sea giants. Its video was uploaded by them and went viral. People were wondering why these creatures, normally found in the ocean, were showing up near the surface. Many believe something could be changing in the ocean depths, drawing these creatures closer to shore. Mutated octopus. Fishermen sailing the Indian Ocean in 2023 captured footage of what appeared to be a giant octopus with ear-like fins, making it look unlike anything ever seen before. The creature was alive but in a calm position, its massive tentacles stretched across half of the ship's deck. The unusual ear-shaped fins are a rare trait for cephalopods, and experts believe it could be an unusually large version of a familiar octopus, such as the giant Pacific octopus. The creature might live in the deeper parts and has developed to an enormous size. The calm behavior could suggest the octopus was resting or recovering from a recent encounter, where it used its energy to catch prey or avoid predators. Ocean mystery. On a Tuesday in Kima, a seasoned fish catcher of 30 years had a surprising encounter off the rocks. As he pulled in his line, his eyes went wide as he stared at the weird creature on his hook. What in the world was this thing? It was like a bug from outer space. The creature had a segmented body covered in a hard shell, with many legs underneath. It looked like a giant isopod, a distant relative of crabs and shrimp, known for living in the deep sea. These creatures are like the armored tanks of the ocean, protected by their tough exoskeletons, showing that even oceans need their own kind of armor. Mermaid. Government secret facilities working on hybridization have long been the subject of conspiracy theories, but this footage captures a paramedic team taking a mermaid on a stretcher. In 2007, Montgomery County reported the discovery of a mysterious being washed ashore near a lake, prompting authorities to quickly respond and secure the area. Witnesses described the creature as humanoid with aquatic features, including gills, translucent skin, and fins, characteristics typically suited for survival in deep waters. Experts believe it may have surfaced due to illness or injury, which could explain its sluggish movements and eventual capture. If the creature is a hybrid, its physical condition may have been unstable, showing visible anomalies that set it apart from any known species. Mysterious fish. Some friends went fishing near Senja, Norway. They were super excited, hoping to catch a big fish. but they had no idea how big their catch would be.
Look at that fish! Whoa! Oh. Even I am shaking. Look at that. Look at that fish!
The fishing camp leader felt a huge tug on his line. He started pulling it in. As the fish got closer to the boat, they couldn't believe it.
It's a big one. That's a 2-meter flounder. 2-meter halibut.
It was a monster halibut. When they measured it, it was 230 meters long, like two grown-ups put together. Instead of keeping it, they let the giant fish swim back into the sea, wanting it to live on. Sea giant. In 2007, as the Russian military was relocating its base, they encountered an extraordinary sight. A massive sea creature just beneath the surface. Its immense body made a cruise ship look small in comparison, and its tail seemed endless, stretching far beyond what the eye could see. From above, its visible backbone extended from head to tail, resembling the ridges of a prehistoric marine giant. Experts believe the creature could be an undiscovered species of deep-sea leviathan, potentially related to mythological sea monsters or ancient reptiles like the Mosasaurus. Its appearance near the surface might have been triggered by environmental changes, disruptions in its environment, or simply by the movement of the military convoy. Spiky fish. Fish also have spikes, so they don't want to be out of fashion. Off the coast of Mozambique, a group of excited fishermen boarded a charter boat from Adventure Tropical. In no time, they pulled it out, and two friends were holding it as a souvenir.
Well done, Andre.
The sailfish had a long, pointy nose like a sword, but what really made it stand out was its tall, spiky fin on its back. This fin looked like a sail on a boat, which is why it's called a sailfish. The fish's body was shiny, and it sparkled in the sun, showing off blues and silvers. It appeared as if it was dressed up for a fancy fish party in the sea. Ocean monster. Legendary sea creatures may seem like pure fantasy, but if they were real, their home would undoubtedly be the remote depths of the ocean. In the Labrador Sea, footage from a U.S. military helicopter captured not one but two massive creatures in the water. One appeared to be a colossal sea serpent, its head rising above the surface while a tail spanned an impressive distance. The other resembled a megalodon, partially submerged, yet immense. The sea serpent's surfacing could indicate feeding or exploration, while the megalodon-like creature may have been patrolling its territory or hunting. Both displayed behaviors characteristic of deep-sea predators, with the serpent scanning its surroundings and the megalodon positioned for an ambush. Record catch. Imagine catching a fish so big it could win you millions of dollars, only to have your dreams taken away. During the Big Rock Blue Marlin tournament in North Carolina, the crew of the fishing boat Sensation thought they had it all when they pulled in a massive 619-pound marlin. The crowd cheered, believing they had secured a $3.5 million prize. However, their excitement turned to disappointment when officials found bite marks on the marlin. According to tournament rules, fish damaged by other sea creatures are disqualified. The captain called it a tough pill to swallow after their 6-hour battle. Hollow fish. In 2016, a fisherman in Thailand was stunned when he pulled a fish from the water that defied everything he knew. The fish's underside was completely hollow, yet somehow it was alive. Holding it in his hands, he could see where the organs should have been. Yet there was only a strange skin-like texture. Unlike any known species, this fish seemed to survive without essential organs, heart, stomach, or liver. Something unheard of in marine biology. Some Thailand villagers believe the fish was a spirit creature or an omen, tying it to supernatural beliefs around the sea. Locals viewed it as a messenger from another realm, possibly hinting at an imbalance in the ocean. Devilfish. Imagine catching a fish that looks like it came from a monster movie. That's exactly what happened to some fishermen on their boat. They got a massive catch that made them super excited. A huge wolffish with a giant head and razor-sharp teeth was.
It exploded!
But even though it looked fierce, They knew they had to be careful with it.
Oh my god, Chico! They were not joking, man.
The brave fishermen gently lifted the wolffish to take a closer look. They admired its strong jaws and unique scales. Then, they slowly lowered it back into the water. As the strange fish swam away, the fishermen felt good about letting it go. They had seen something rare and made sure it stayed safe in its ocean home.
All right, we're gonna let him go.
Turtle octopus. In 2019, a mysterious creature was spotted at Whitehaven Beach with a body resembling a giant octopus, but with a much different skin texture. The footage captured a giant, turtle-like skull and fat tentacles, which allowed the creature to stand for a brief moment. This unusual behavior isn't typical for octopuses, as their tentacles don't usually support them in this way. The creature's distinct features suggest it could be a rare hybrid or an evolutionary anomaly. It's possible that the creature washed ashore in search of food, for breeding, or due to disorientation. Its strange appearance and behavior might be part of its adaptation to environmental pressures, or perhaps it's a creature that has evolved differently from any we've seen before. Prehistoric catch. In the Fraser River, a fisherman had an encounter he'll never forget. As he felt a pull in his fishing pole, he tried to bring it in. Little did he know, he had caught a monstrous sturgeon. This fish was so massive, it looked like it could swallow the boat whole. The fisherman struggled with all his might, but the sturgeon was just too strong. It broke free from the pole and disappeared back into the depths. The Fraser River is known for its big sturgeon, but catches like this are rare. And what other giant fish might be hiding in our rivers? Skeleton crab. Deep in the South Sandwich Trench, underwater researchers discovered an extinct species of crab. Captured in 2019, the crab was unusually large, roughly the size of a human, or even bigger with a sturdy. Its exoskeleton was ghostly white or dark, almost black, with bioluminescent patterns that faintly glowed in the pitch-black depths. Its eerie, glowing eyes flickered like empty sockets, adapting to the faint light or total darkness. The crab's claws were large, sharp, and jagged, resembling broken bones. The creature could have been preserved in the trench's extreme depths for centuries, lying dormant until it was finally discovered. The disfigured claws suggest a defensive role, possibly protecting its territory from other deep-sea predators. River anomaly. In 2023, an unusual figure floating on the shore in Thailand. At first, locals thought it was just a big piece of driftwood. But upon closer inspection, they realized it was a weird creature. It had a huge cartoon-like head that seemed too big for its body. Two large eyes bulged out, giving it an alien-like appearance. The most startling feature was its mouth. When opened, it showed rows of sharp, pointy teeth. This strange mix of features made the creature look like some kind of mutant mermaid. Tentacled anomaly. Tourists visiting Redwood National Park in 2017 captured an extraordinary sight. A fluid-like entity with countless tentacles emerging from the water and heading into the dense forest. The tentacles appeared to interact with the trees and soil, as though the creature was extracting nutrients or forming a connection with its surroundings. With a gelatinous, translucent body, the entity moved gracefully, using its tentacles for mobility and sensory exploration. Its fluid-like structure made it adaptable to both water and land environments. The entity could be moving into the forest to absorb energy from the vegetation, soil, or sunlight. This behavior might indicate an advanced survival strategy, with the creature relying on the forest's resources for sustenance or energy. Giant jelly. While out boating, a boater had a strange encounter that left him rubbing his head.
What is that? It's huge.
His paddle touched a big and slippery thing in the water. When he looked closer, he saw a long, snake-like creature with a see-through body. At first, he thought it might be a water snake, But this creature was different. It had a fragile, transparent body with tiny, seed-like structures inside. The boatman captured a video of the weird being and shared it online.
Anyone can tell me what this is? Let me know in the comments.
To which people commented that the mysterious creature might be a salp, a barrel-shaped sea animal that pumps water through its jelly-like body to move and eat tiny plants in the water. Cave spider. Deep into the depths of Variovkina Cave, a groundbreaking discovery was made in 2009 when a cave exploration robot sent to study its depths captured footage of a giant spider-like creature. The creature was found resting in water that had turned green, indicating the water had remained still for years, possibly altered by the creature's presence or waste. This spider-like being, unusually large and adapted to the cave's conditions, could belong to an ancient lineage of cave-dwelling creatures. Its ability to survive in such a harsh, lightless environment hints at remarkable adaptations, such as slower metabolism or unique respiratory traits. It may have developed a unique physiology to utilize scarce resources and survive prolonged periods of inactivity. Sea serpent. On July 15, 2022, a group of fishers were out in their boat when they felt a huge tug on their line. What came out of the water was a fish so long, it was hard to believe. The fish measured 16 feet. That's as long. Some people thought catching it was super lucky, but others said it might bring bad luck. Turns out, it was a rare oarfish. These fish look like giant ribbons, and not many people ever get to see them. The fishers couldn't believe their luck, but there was one big problem. The fish was way too long to take home. So they decided to let it go back into the water. What a fishy tale they had to tell their friends. Massive squid. According to myth, the kraken is so massive that its tentacles could pull entire ships under the water. In 2004, footage from Norway captured something that might resemble this legendary creature. Many people witnessed a giant squid emerging from the water, its countless tentacles stretching out in a remarkable display. This behavior could have been driven by the squid seeking food, possibly following schools of fish to the surface. Alternatively, it could have been a rare instance of the squid becoming disoriented. With its large and intricate tentacles, the squid might have been exploring or searching for prey in unfamiliar waters, explaining the brief yet dramatic sighting. The squid was visible for a short time before vanishing back into the depths. Human face fish. Have you ever seen a strange fish? Well, get ready for something even weirder. Some boaters at a dock spotted a brown creature in the water. At first, they thought it might be a mermaid, but it was a fish, and not just any fish. This one had a face that looked almost human. The odd fish had big eyes, a bump for a nose, and lips that seemed to form a creepy smile. It reminded them of a blobfish, another sea creature known for its funny face. This fishy discovery left everyone at the dock amazed and a little spooked. Unidentified carcass. In 2019, a beach in Singapore became the unexpected location of a strange sea creature that washed ashore during the day. What began as an ordinary beach outing quickly turned into a surreal sighting of a creature that looked like it belonged to prehistoric times, possibly from the deep, isolated waters. Despite being washed ashore, the creature's body appeared unusually well preserved, a rare occurrence for sea creatures exposed to the harsh elements. Some experts believe it could be a deep-sea animal from an ancient lineage, perhaps a species similar to the extinct plesiosaur. The creature may have died due to natural causes, such as old age, injury, or environmental factors, and drifted to the shore. Ball eyes. Want to fish at lunchtime? Not a bad idea. Far out in the ocean, a group of fishers pulled up an incredible finding that made them look twice.
Bro, look at his eyes! Look at his eyes! Why is his eyes popping out of his head?
It was a fish, but not like any they'd seen before. It had huge eyes that looked like they were popping right out of its head.
Bro, I can't even describe how nasty and cool this is at the same time. It's just like a weird satisfying.
The fishers learned it was a pomfret, a fish that lives way down in the dark ocean, about 1,600 feet deep. That's so far down, most people can't even dive there. But the surprises didn't end there. When they cleaned the fish later, they found a pearl inside.
And that is a pearl inside of a fish.
After all the excitement, the fishers cooked it up for lunch, turning their amazing find into a tasty meal. Mermaid reeled in. In some folklore, mermaids might age or degrade physically, appearing as skeletons or decayed beings, but surviving due to their mystical or immortal nature. This description came to life in 2014, when a fisherman in Thailand captured footage of a figure that looked like a mermaid in midair. Some argue it might not have been a physical creature, but rather an energetic manifestation, shaped by cultural myths and beliefs. Its sudden appearance near fishing boats could point to disruption in its natural habitat or even territorial behavior. Such sightings leave us pondering the wonders of the ocean and the possibilities it holds. Could there be more like this hidden in the deep? Share your thoughts below. Water alien. The fish catcher got some company in the water as he was out on his boat, enjoying the blue ocean, when he saw a sight that left him speechless. There in the water was a big, pale creature swimming by. It wasn't a fish, because typically they are not pale in color. It looked a bit like a manatee or a dugong and just swam along, minding its own business. Then the fish catcher increased the speed of its boat just to stay safe, and that creature slipped back under the waves and vanished. White halibut. One day, a fisherman had a super strange surprise after catching lots of fish. It was like the ocean was giving him a special gift. It was a big, white halibut, but it wasn't like any halibut he'd seen before. When he looked closer, he saw that parts of its skin were brown, showing its insides. The halibut's eyes were huge and bulging, making it look even more bizarre. It just shows you never know what surprises the ocean might have for you when you go fishing. One-eyed wonder. Have you ever seen a one-eyed fish? If not, then I'll show you. A video uploaded by some scientists from a lab showed a fish that made them laugh so hard. It looked super weird, as it had only one eye. The fish was brownish, and its single eye was right in the middle of its head. Soon, everyone was talking about the one-eyed wonder. Some people thought it might be part of a special fish family called cyclops fish, which all have just one eye, but they're still studying it to figure out what's going on. So for now, this one-eyed fish is keeping its secrets. Who knows? Maybe it just wanted to be different from all the other two-eyed fish in the sea. Faceless fish. In 2017, some scientists in Australia found a weird sea being in the ocean. It was like finding a fish from another planet. These ocean explorers went deep into the Pacific Ocean, about 4 kilometers down. And here is the fun fact. They came across a fish with no face. This strange fish had no eyes, no nose, and no mouth. It was like someone had erased its face. The scientists couldn't believe their eyes, even though the fish didn't have any. It just shows that our oceans are full of surprises. Massive stingray. In the murky water of Cambodia's Mekong River, fishermen and researchers made an incredible discovery.
This was the biggest freshwater fish that's ever been recorded.
A giant freshwater stingray weighing 300 kilograms and measuring 13 feet long. It broke world records as the largest freshwater fish ever found. After tagging the stingray, they released it back into the river to track its movements for a year, hoping to learn more about its secret life. This amazing discovery was also reported and became viral worldwide.
And researchers and fishermen in Cambodia last week caught and recorded the world's biggest freshwater fish. The stingray weighed a whopping 300 kilograms and was 13 feet long.
I am sure you are also thinking of making a world record after that. So go ahead. What are you waiting for? Deep sea anomaly. The Mariana Trench is known as the deepest point on Earth, and recently, an underwater drone captured footage of a mysterious sea creature lurking in its depths. The creature's body was covered in rough, scaly skin, and it had a lion-like face with large canine teeth, no visible eyes, and clawed hands. Its features are reminiscent of a predator, but the lack of eyes suggests it may have evolved to survive in the pitch-black depths of the trench. This strange creature could be a greedy fish or an undiscovered monster, adapted to the extreme conditions. With temperatures just above freezing and immense pressure, its absence of eyes may indicate it relies on other senses to hunt or scavenge in the darkness. Slimy wonder. A family after a successful day at sea, happy with their large catch. But as they unloaded the fish, they noticed a unique creature among them. It wasn't just any fish. It was a strange, slippery one that looked part eel, part alien. The fishermen quickly realized they had caught a hagfish. This 70-centimeter creature with no face or fins trying to escape. Surprised by their unusual guest, they decided to carefully release the hagfish back into the water. Sea crawler. This giant sea monster was captured by a crew in the Pacific Ocean, leaving them baffled since they had never encountered anything like it before. The creature resembled an enormous lobster, towering taller than an average man, with long, spindly walking legs stretched across the deck. Its immense size could be the result of deep-sea gigantism, a phenomenon where creatures in high-pressure, low-light environments grow to extraordinary proportions. Some experts believe it may belong to a lineage of ancient marine species once thought extinct, surviving in the isolated depths of the Pacific. Others suggest it could be a newly discovered species, perfectly adapted to life in unexplored ecosystems, such as those found in the Pacific's deepest trenches, like the Mariana Trench. Monstrous catch. Fish lover got the shock of his life when he held a fish in his hands that looked like it could swallow a person whole. This giant catfish was truly a monster catch, making him surprised. The catfish's whiskers were very long, and its mouth looked big enough to fit a basketball. This river giant had probably been growing for decades, quietly hiding in the depths until it took the bait. Well, being a fish lover, he decided to release his incredible catch back into the water. Sea monster. Whales can weigh up to 100 tons, so moving one with a crane is no small task. This footage from Indonesia shows the massive size of the creature, which can overwhelm the equipment used to lift it. Transporting a whale requires careful calculations to find the best angle and position, ensuring the body or the environment is not damaged. The process often draws large crowds, and unusual behavior from local wildlife, such as scavengers or birds, is commonly observed. The whale likely washed ashore due to natural causes like old age, disease, or injury. It's crucial to move the whale carefully to avoid contaminating the ecosystem, as the carcass can release harmful substances into the surrounding water and soil. Giant sunfish. Marine biologists thought he was having a regular day at work until he got an extraordinary call. A tuna fishing boat had caught a big sea being in their nets, and they needed an expert to check it out. When they arrived, they couldn't believe their eyes. Tangled in the nets was an enormous sunfish, bigger than any he'd ever seen. This ocean giant was 3.2 meters long and 2.9 meters wide. It was so heavy that it almost broke the 1,000-kilo scale they used to weigh it. The fish was first isolated in an underwater chamber attached to the boat before being lifted aboard using a crane, and after taking measurements and DNA samples, they released it back into the sea. Whale with tentacles. In 1997, an extraordinary event took place in Albania when a giant whale with countless tentacles washed up on the shore. The footage captured the creature's massive tail, with the tentacles moving as people watched from the beach. The tentacles, still alive and writhing even after the creature had washed ashore, appeared to resemble those of deep-sea creatures like squids or octopuses, but on a much larger scale. Its unusual size, body structure, and tentacle formation indicated maybe an evolved deep-sea species adapted to survive in tremendous conditions. The creature likely washed up due to a natural event, like a storm or environmental shift, and its tentacles may have been used for mobility in its deep-sea habitat. Anonymous swimmer. One normal day in Singapore, a local spotted a strange sight in the shallow pond water. Swimming near was a fish unlike any they'd imagined before. This peculiar creature, about 1.5 feet long, looked like it came from another world. It had bulging eyes that seemed to pop out of its head and a weird snout-like mouth. Its fins were spread out like airplane wings, and its back fins stretched all the way to its tail. It was arowana showing some moves. Sea serpent. While it's true that the sea holds many secrets, catching a mythical creature is something no one expects, even in the modern world. In 2014, fishermen off the coast of the Pacific Ocean hauled up a massive sea serpent, hoisting it from the depths onto their ship's deck. Its dark, glossy scales, tinged with black and brown, shimmered as it was lifted by a crane. As the creature's head was pulled forward, its fierce features were revealed. A gaping mouth full of sharp, needle-like teeth and eyes full of intense emotion. The serpent was nearly the length of the yacht, with scales so dense and heavy that the crane struggled to lift it. Young fisherman. 9-year-old boy from New Jersey had the fishing trip of a lifetime in Chilliwack, British Columbia. While visiting with his dad, he caught an enormous find in the Fraser River. A 600-pound sturgeon. For nearly 2 hours, the 4-foot-tall boy battled with it 10 times his size. With help from his dad and a fishing guide, he finally brought the monster fish close to shore. The sturgeon was an incredible 10 feet long. He bravely got into the water to help guide the giant fish back to the river. Even though the sturgeon seemed to want to hang around, he made sure it swam safely away. It's time for today's open discussion. A group of fish saviors came to the river with a mission: to catch gars so they could raise their babies in safe places and then let them go back into the wild. While searching, they made an incredible catch: a massive alligator gar that looked like it was from the time of dinosaurs. This big fish had a head like an alligator, hard scales, and 2 rows of sharp teeth. At first, the gar didn't move, and they got worried. But after putting it back in the water, they were happy to see it come back to life. Their hard work would help protect this old species for the future. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.